But not Jesus. You see, Jesus died, and when God raised him to life, Jesus will never die again. He's eternal. And that's what we have to look forward to, folks. Because once we die, there's an eternity that we face, one way or another. You see, Jesus was raised to die never again. You see, that means that I and you and I do not need to fear death. It has been conquered. Death has been swallowed up. Death is not the end. We don't have to fear it anymore. But hear this. We need to fear the one who conquered death. You see, we don't have to fear death, but we need to fear the one who conquered death. We need to fear God, because it is God who's going to determine where we're going to spend eternity, either heaven or hell. Because he has the power to do that. We don't have to fear death, though. A second thing that Easter does, what's so significant, what's so special about Easter? Under outline 2b, it separates Jesus from any other religion or any other godly, holy man that has ever lived. Easter separates him. Every other founder of every other religion has a tomb where their followers go and remember them. Their bodies are in the tomb, or what's left of their bodies after being decayed. The dust is there. But not for Jesus, because he's alive. There have been godly people, powerful spiritual people, who have done miraculous things throughout this world. They have raised the dead to life. They have cast out demons. They have healed people. Matter of fact, in the Bible it talks about the fact that one guy made an axe head float. Just for the record, metal doesn't usually float. He made it float. There was a guy who prayed and it wouldn't rain, and for 7 years it did not rain. That's pretty powerful. And then he prayed again, and guess what? It was not only did it rain, but it was drought-busting rain. There's people who call down fire from heaven. That's pretty impressive. I mean, that's impressive. And the fire that came down, the scripture says it consumed, it burned up the bull, which I can understand that. The animal that was there on the ground, on the altar. But it said it consumed the stones that it was on top of, and the water that was in the trench. I've never seen fire consume stone before. That's pretty amazing. But all of those people have died, and they have tombs that they're in. Jesus is unlike anybody else who has ever come or who will ever come. He is risen to never die again. It's what makes Christianity different from every other religion. What's so special about Easter? A third thing. It gives the kingdom of God a king that reigns forever and ever. His reign will never end. You see, what we have kings and queens and rulers on this earth and have been on this earth. There's not a king who reigns forever. They eventually die. And then their son takes over, and then their son takes over, and then their son takes over, right? That's how it works. But what makes Easter so special is that Jesus is the king of God's kingdom forever. There will never need to be a reason to replace Jesus, because he lives forever. Think about this. Jesus took everything that this world could give to somebody. Jesus not only took what this world could take, but he took all that Satan and his demons could give to somebody. You see, the religious leaders came up with a plan of how to get rid of Jesus. We'll just crucify him. We'll have the Romans crucify him, and we won't have to worry about him anymore. Complete with a guard that guarded the tomb so that nobody could take it away, the body away. And after Jesus was abandoned by his friends and betrayed by the ones he loved and beaten to the edge of death and mocked upon and spit upon and hung on the cross, dying the worst death crucifixion is the worst death that mankind has ever come up with. They've studied deaths. When you study how to kill somebody, crucifixion is the worst way to go. Jesus took the worst that this world had, the worst that Satan had. I can imagine at the time of Jesus' death that the chief priests The Pharisees, the demons, the Satan, and Satan himself were saying, it's all over, dun, 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 dun. It's all over. I can imagine that that's what they were saying or thinking. We have killed him. It is done. It is over. It's all over. It's all. Can you imagine it? I could. Everyone thought it was over. Even his followers thought it was over. But then Sunday comes. But then the third day comes. And they find that Jesus had taken everybody's best shot. And it wasn't enough. God raised him to life again. The empty tomb means that all the world hands out to you, all that Satan does against you, cannot derail God's plan for your life and my life. I don't care what's happened to you. It cannot derail God's plan for your life. I don't care how bad and how horrible your life is. There is nothing on this earth, there is nothing that Satan can do to us that can derail God's plan for our life. How do I know that? It's because Jesus took the worst that this world had to offer, and it wasn't too much for God. He raised him back to life. And there's some people here that need to be reminded of that, or maybe know that for the first time today.
Yes, sir.
As you look at your life and you've been frustrated, you've lost hope, you think this is just the way it's going to be. I blew it. My chances are gone. I mean, all these things that we say over and over and over again. Folks, there is hope because of the resurrection. There is hope because Jesus took the worst that this world and Satan could give, and it wasn't anywhere near enough. So that should give us hope today. It should give hope to me, and it should give hope to you. Another reason what was significant about Easter is on your outline 2D. Easter means that hope can be restored. You know, there's a lot of hope and despair. You read the story of the death and the resurrection, you're thinking, well, we celebrate today, but they weren't celebrating back then. The angel's proclamation began the stirring of hope. And then it continued as Jesus appeared to people. And he let them touch the nail holes, and he let them touch the spear wound in his side. They let him touch his body and make sure he wasn't a ghost. I don't know how many of you believe in ghosts, but the disciples were like, are you a ghost? He says, no, touch me. Ghosts don't have bodies. Once people realized what had happened, hope was restored. And that's the message that I want to leave with us today. I don't care what you've been going through. I don't care what you've been, not being harsh, but what I mean is it doesn't matter. Because whatever it is, God is still more powerful than that. God can restore hope. He can bring healing. He can give direction again to your life. I mean, think about it. Peter, who was a great leader of the church, was the one who says, no, I don't know God. No, I don't know God. No, I don't know. 3 different times when asked, I don't know anything about that guy. And that's the leader? I mean, that's the best that Jesus could do in 3 years? That's the best he could come up with as a leader that would deny him? You know what? I don't care what you've done. God can restore you to your place in his plan. You can have denied him all your life, but if you call on him right now, you are restored. You are restored. You see, the empty tomb means that there's hope for everybody. Hope for everybody. We need to hear that. We need to know that. Because there's some people here who are walking around without hope. They're walking around without life on the inside. And Jesus restores that. Jesus gives life. He's the giver of life. The giver of life. The empty strips of linen to us should mean victory. Should mean that nothing can keep us down, not even death. And there are some people here who think, oh yeah, my life is over. I've too many mistakes. All the dreams, all the hopes that I had, those are all done. All done. But they're not. They're not. For those who are overwhelmed and lost hope, whether it's in all of your life or just in a particular area, guess what? the empty tomb, the strips of linen lying there all by themselves means that God has the power to raise your dreams back to life, raise your life and give you life in it. For those who are discouraged right now, there is hope. The next time I see strips of linen, my prayer is that I would be reminded of Easter in that empty tomb. And instead of being discouraged, that would encourage my soul to say there is hope. Too many times we look at the situation and we don't look at the God who's above the situation. You know, earlier I said my stove broke. Talk to the treasurer, there's no money. Oh boy. It's not hopeless, folks. I serve a God who can do the impossible. Even when I look at the situation and say, I don't know how it's going to happen. We've all looked at life and said, how is it going to happen? We need to get our eyes off of that stuff and hear what the angels had to say. Why are you looking among the stuff? Why are you looking among the dead stuff for God? Look up from where your salvation comes from. Here's the challenge today, folks. The challenge is for each one of us to call out to God and to call out and have Him breathe new life into us. If you've never called out to God, the emptiness that you feel on the inside can be fulfilled in a moment, in an instant. The garbage, the sin that is just weighing you down can be released and gone. And you feel like you're going to float away. Somebody's going to have to tie a rope on your foot. That's how free and how complete God's healing is. But you know what? It's not just for those who don't know Him, but you know what? Sometimes even God's children need to be reminded that no situation is hopeless. We all today need to call out and ask God for hope. Ask God to stir our hearts and to breathe life into us. So let's stand for a time of prayer. And that's just as you're standing there, I just want you to look at your life. Do you need a touch from God today? I mean, the same God, the same power that raised Jesus from life to life is available and is at work in us today. That's what Scripture says. The same power. So whatever you're facing today, it is minuscule compared to God's power. Do you need hope today? Do you need life in the inside of you? Today is the day to call out to God. Why is it? Because right now, why would you wander? Why would you experience hopelessness and frustration more than you have to? I don't know about you. I'm not the brightest person in the world, but I don't want to be walking around frustrated and hopeless all my life. Today is the day to call out to God for salvation. Today is the day to call out for God to bring you life. And if that's what you want God to do, just raise up your hand. Just raise up your hand and say, God, I want you to bring life to my body. I need your life inside of me. And then just call out and say that to God. There's no special words. Just call out your heart's desire to God. Lord God, I am so grateful for Easter. I'm grateful for what the empty tomb means. I'm grateful that you are the all-powerful God and that death is not the end. I'm grateful today that we celebrate the fact that Jesus, our Savior, is risen, that He will never die again. And I pray specifically for those who raised their hands this morning. They say, I need life. I need to have life restored. I need to have hope restored. I need to take my eyes off the situation and my eyes upon you. God, each one that have called out to you, I pray that you would overwhelm them with your presence, with your forgiveness, and with the breath of life. Breathe into them and have hope restored and life to the full, as you promised that you would give us if we would simply call out to you. I pray all this in the most powerful name, the most holy name, the name of Jesus.